Games have been an important part of my life, so much so that I want to pursue a career in making them, despite not really wanting to be a game designer. There was a stage in my life where my opinion has changed. Before I started university after a gap year, after completing my PLC course in game design, I thought about my ideal game. To do that, I just wanted to highlight 5 of my favorite games that I played growing up and take what I loved about them into my ideal game. The first game is Danganronpa, probably my favorite video game franchise ever. It's a detective mystery visual novel that centers around ultimate students trapped in Hope's Peak Academy by an evil teddy bear named Monokuma, who forces the students to murder each other to escape. But there's a plot twist. They have to participate in class trials in which everyone in a circle has to identify who murdered the victim, and if identified, the killer faces punishment, which also means execution. If the students fail to identify the killer, they all perish. The executions are probably my favorite part of the game, as executions are unique to the killers, ultimate, which they are talented in their respective area. So an example would be the ultimate pianist, who is really good at the piano. So they get executed relating to a piano. I would talk about it all day, but this video has to be 5 minutes max. Another game is 9 Persons, 9 Hours, 9 Doors, or in short I'll call 999. It's a mystery visual novel about 9 individuals who are kidnapped and are trapped in a mystery boat. They are to play a series of escape rooms, but they can only enter a door if their number can make up the digital root of that numbered door. An example would be door number 6. Only the characters with the number 1, 3, 5, and 6 on their watches can enter that door, because 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 6 equals 15, and that equals to 1 plus 5 equals 6. I find that concept really fucking cool. The third game is Ace Attorney, which is a detective visual novel that centers around Phoenix Wright, a rookie defense attorney whose goal is to prove that his clients are innocent in court. It plays like Danganronpa, where you have to investigate a crime scene, interview witnesses, and find out the truth in a court-like environment. I really like the world building in Ace Attorney. It's really cool, and the main story spans to the third game when the truth comes full circle. My fourth game is I, the Somnium Files. It's another visual novel, which this time is 3D. You play as Kaname Date, who is a detective in the secret police department called Abyss, which stands for Advanced Brain Investigation Squad. He's led by Boss, who is surprisingly your boss, and you have a partner who is also your AI left eye named Aiba, who is my favorite character of all time in video games. My first tattoo is Aiba, which is a fun fact. You have to investigate a string of murders and use a method of investigation called syncing, which is a machine that can collect clues on the subject who you are investigating. It dives into the dreams and the psyche of the subject who is subconsciously hiding evidence. I find this feature in iSomnium to be really unique, and it's an awesome way to find evidence instead of just plainly asking someone questions. I like how exploring the dreams have different laws of reality in which you have to do things that isn't common sense, like smelling a flower can reveal a hint to an open door. My fifth game is Raincode. It's a 3D detective adventure game where you play as a detective named Yuma, who has a contract to the Death God, and your job is to solve the mystery behind Kane Ward, which is mysteriously always raining and is a very authoritarian-run city. And to solve murders, you have to go into a mystery labyrinth to uncover the identity of the killer. It's a fairly new game, which I fell in love with, as it's probably the closest to my ideal game out there. I really enjoyed how it's an open world game, and solving the mystery labyrinth is a series of mini-games. I kinda wish I could forget playing it so I could replay it and experience the story and plot twists again. Now that I have my favorite games out of the way, let's make my favorite aspects of my favorite games and make my ideal game. I think it's no surprise that my ideal game is a 3D detective adventure game with visual novel features. For the core concept, I want to include Raincode Supernatural Forensics, 999's escape rooms, and the focus on character relationships in basically all the games I listed. My core mechanic would be information gathering, like interviewing witnesses, reading documents, and maybe the use of supernatural forensics to help the player pry the witness for information without raising suspicion. I do love Raincode Supernatural Forensics, as it reminds me a lot of my favorite anime Bungo Stray Dogs, where characters who are detectives have special abilities. The core loop would be investigation, deduction, and truth. The reward would be discovering another layer in the already stacked mystery by revealing the murderer. There's 3 feelings I want the player to experience while playing my ideal game. First is immersion. I want the player to be at the edge of their seat and engage with the complex story unfolding right before their very eyes, the same way I felt playing all these games that I played in my past. Second is accomplishment. I want the player to feel accomplished after connecting the clues together to solve a mystery. And my third is attachment to the characters. Through my character-driven narratives, I want the player to have a favorite character, and maybe a character that they dislike. I find that these 3 experiences are the same ones I felt when I played my top 5 games, and why they are my favorites. To be honest, there isn't much of an evolution for my favorite games, as they all share the same formula, that being detective mystery games. But I would like to say that I've gotten deeper into detective mystery games. What I mean by that is when I played Danganronpa and Ace Attorney, I loved how dramatic the stories were, and there wasn't too much to it other than investigation than trial. But then my interest shifted to 999, which focused on problem solving and logical barriers. Another thing is that I moved to The Somnium Files, which dives into more deeper information gathering by instead of just asking characters for information, it turned into their psyche and moving from reality to subconscious truths that they hide. And lastly, I moved from being a 2D visual novel reader that involves point and click into 3D detective adventure games like The Somnium Files and Raincode, which changed my immersion as instead of reading these mysteries, I'm walking through it and interacting with the world around me in the 3D space.